silence of the room. Are we live?
We're live.
Wonderful, thank you. My notes. Good evening, welcome to the April 17th, 2025 Board of Education meeting for Skokie 68. Can I get a call to order and a roll call?
Bill Jordan. Here. Hyatt. Here. Lenegro. Here. Ruffner.
Here.
Servants.
Here.
Sullivan.
Here.
Rorschach.
Here.
We will now begin the public participation portion of our meeting. We have a 5-minute time limit for speakers and ask that you respect that time limit. Any speaker who exceeds the time limit will be asked to end their comments. This is an opportunity for the board to hear from our community, and we appreciate everyone who comes out to provide feedback. Please understand this is not a time for dialogue, and the board will not be addressing each speaker's comments. We remind everyone of the expectations set forward in Board Policy 830 that all people who offer comments during public participation and those who are here to listen act in a civil and non-disruptive manner. We take our roles in guiding our young learners seriously and expect that the grown-ups in this community will speak respectfully in this room. There may be issues related to individuals or private matters that are best addressed in other forums, and we ask that you consider that before comments are made. We remind everyone that our administration is available for assistance, and you can also address the board through email or letter. We have one registered public comment. We'll be hearing from Tricia Daniels.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Hi, my name is Tricia Daniels. I have 2 kids at Highland Elementary. There are also a lot of Highland Elementary parents here this evening, if you want to raise your hands. That I'm not entirely speaking on behalf of, but we're all concerned about the same issue. So I'm addressing the board tonight in regards to the rising 2nd grade class at Highland Elementary. It's a grade of students who spent more than half their lives wearing masks due to COVID by the time they were 5 years old and entering kindergarten. It's come to my attention that while separated into 3 classrooms this school year, the trajectory for next year is to combine them into 2. Dr. Grenz has filled in our concerned group of parents with average class sizes, enrollment trends, and budget context. What I'd like to be considered by the district is the children as people, not as numbers. These are children who, in their 2 years of elementary school, have experienced classmates threatening to slit their throats, classmates causing classroom evacuations, classmates biting them so hard they leave impressions, classmates exposing themselves during class, and classmates punching them in the face, as has happened to my daughter recently. The learning environment is already a challenging one for both students and teachers at the school in this particular grade. While looking at potential homeroom class sizes of 23, it is my understanding that all the special classes would continue to go above these numbers with the integration of NT-DSE students as well. This is putting an additional burden on those educators and stealing an opportunity for children in this grade to receive adequate attention to reach their potential. Other metrics I would like to see considered include academic data, that these classes are thriving before thrust into classrooms 50% larger than this year. Gathering feedback of their current and former teachers in support of the merge. We know that research on students in smaller class sizes indicates better test scores, especially in younger grades, and benefits extending to other outcomes like higher graduation rates and college enrollment. I'm asking the superintendent and board to support the most important dynamic we can provide in our schools, appropriate classroom sizes given the actual children who populate them, not just the number of students on paper. Thank you.
Thank you.
That ends our public comment section. We now move on to our superintendent's reports.
All right, thank you everyone for being here. We have 3 reports and presentations tonight, and the first is from our team at Old Orchard Junior High. Principal Hanson.
Welcome, everyone. Big crowd tonight, given the fact that we have play group here. Thank you for having me. We usually do this at the end of the year. I'll share the dates of our school play coming up soon. I wanted to take this opportunity as kind of like a bookend to the year to just highlight some of the things we have going on at Old Orchard in terms of teacher collaboration and just some of the larger work we're doing. So I'm going to talk a lot about teaching and learning, not too much since we have a play to put on, and social emotional learning and the whole child as well. And really what I'm gonna focus on, okay, hey. This is par for the course in my life.
Maybe exit out and
I
back
did,
in?
yeah, here we go.
Okay.
All right, stay with me. Okay, what I'm really gonna focus on is the collaboration between our drama teacher and our art teacher, but kind of as like an object lesson or a case study of really what we're trying to do across the school on a small scale. And then I'll give a quick little kind of oversight in terms of, or insight into how that's feeding into some of the larger work that we're doing, like with AVID and restorative practices, which really involves everybody working together on one page. So I'm going to introduce this term really quickly. Collective teacher efficacy, any group, oh boy. All I need is my 10-year-old and my 7-year-old at this point to provide some background for this. But really when we're thinking about organization, whether it's a board or whether it's a school organization, the crux of getting things done is really the degree to which everybody in that unit is organized and feeling a common sense of the work as being valuable and good. And this is collective teacher efficacy. So this is something that a school leader seeks to build long-term, and in both short and long-term ways, whether it's collaboration between two teachers or a whole school effort to implement AVID. It's really this collective teacher efficacy piece. This is research by John Hattie. These are effect sizes. So of all the effect sizes that John Hattie has kind of analyzed and done a meta-analysis of, we do things like learning intentions and success criteria, which is teacher clarity, which is also on this list towards the bottom. But that 0.75 influence or impact rate is almost double when it comes to just people organizing. I think it's the real power of having good educators and the leader who can run a PowerPoint. So efficacy real quickly, it's really about developing mastery experiences where people feel like they're actually doing impactful things. Again, at a school level, we have AVID going on, which was presented earlier in the year. We did restorative practices and keep doing that. And it's really creating a shared sense that the things that we're investing our energy in are worth investing our energy in, which just builds on itself. And then at a smaller level, we're really focusing on improved collaboration between humans or humans and technology, to really get a sense of that large scale on a small scale. Because I'll provide this example and then talk about a few others. But what we found is really when you have teachers who are collaborating together, what you're doing naturally, even though it's sometimes not natural for two adults to get along and collaborate with each other, is you're improving the possibilities and opportunities that kids have just because they're working across drama and art, or like I'll talk later on, FCS and STEM. So these are just some photographs. These are the stars of the show, really. This is Ms. Trin and Mr. Ello. Both of them have young children and weren't able to make it tonight for family reasons. But these two have been working together for 2 years. Oof. One Martha, here we go, okay. And they've really started to build this out year after year. So in the past, Ms. Trin would kind of do some things for the stage crew. This year, you can see on the left, the art classes, she integrated into all of her art classes the opportunity of painting the backdrops for the play. On the left, you can see that Mr. Ello is dedicating 2 of his classes to theater production, so they're actually building the props and the set. I drew an arrow to a man. This is also allowing some retired theater folk to come in and really work with kids and share their expertise. With the overarching message here being, you know, the play this year is something that is really a school event, or more of a school event than it has been, 3 years ago. And just to, provide a couple more examples of this kind of collaborative piece. In our Holocaust and Genocide unit, our English teachers cooperate with history teachers, our family consumer science teacher and STEM teacher collaborate on a food truck project. And within content area, we now have many more teachers co-teaching in order to go to a big space and do kind of inventive and experimental things, not on children, but for children, where they're really able to do some more dynamic tasks by working together. And then this kind of curlicue infinity sign over there is really just to show where Old Orchard is now. The ideal outcome is that teachers start to observe each other on a regular basis and learn from each other about what best practices are, what works the best for children, and all of these small collaborations feed into that, but it's also not a one-way street. The more people start to organize, the more they start to collaborate, and vice versa. So the question is improved collaboration and improved opportunities lead to improved performance? Just want to note, so the play is May 1st at 6 p.m. And then there's another show Friday, May 2nd at 7 p.m. It's at Old Orchard Junior High School. It is just a donation to get in, and hopefully a smile at the end. So without further ado, the OOJH players.
We have to be careful in this forest.
Why? What's in here?
Lions,
And
tigers,
and
bears.
oh my! Lions and tigers and did you say lions? Oh yes, but ouch! Oh, what did you do that for? I was just about to burst into song.
Sorry, please go on.
You've ruined the moment.
But isn't this a musical?
It was until you ruined it.
Sorry.
Don't apologize to me. Apologize to them.
To them? But they're scary.
Them? They're ordinary and dull looking.
Especially that one.
Yes, I am. I'm a cowardly lion.
Well, maybe the wizard can help you.
The wizard?
Yes, that's a smart idea, Scarecrow. We were off to see the wizard for brain, hearts, and something called Kansas.
It's not a thing. It's my home.
Do you think the wizard can give me some courage?
I don't see why not.
Well then, do you mind if I join you? I'll roar very loudly to protect you.
That would be wonderful.
Then we're off to see the wizard.
The wonderful Wizard of Oz!
Oh, I stepped on a poor little beetle.
It's gonna be okay.
Charades? I love charades!
You're eating something. Your mouth?
No! Teeth? Tongue?
I know, jaws. Oh, you rested again. Oh,
Here, take this.
Finally.
it's the Emerald City.
Wow!
So, introduce yourself and your grade.
Hi.
And wait. And what is it meant to be part of the play?
I am Gannon Capellis. I am in 8th grade, and I'm Cowardly Lion. But working in the play this year and last year too has been such a wonderful experience because I've gotten to meet so many new people that I would have not interacted with otherwise, like 6th and 7th graders. Like, didn't even know you guys.
Hi, my name is Fiona Deers. I'm in 6th grade and I play Dorothy. My favorite part of doing the play is just getting to have fun and express myself in different ways and just be able to hang out.
My name is AJ Washington. I play Tin Man, obviously. I'm in 8th grade.
A true experience about being in this place, just like again meeting people like in 7th grade that I only meet in the hallways, and it's been a true experiencing like having the chance to get to know the younger people and what their experience is like.
I'm Amara Correa, and I play Scarecrow. I'm in 6th grade, and I just think it's a fun time.
Thank you, students. Does the board, do you have any questions for either myself or these darling children?
I just want to say how excited I am. I had 2 kids go through Old Orchard, and there weren't a lot of all-school plays for a couple of years there.
Yeah.
So I'm thrilled that the tradition's back. And it didn't stop one of my daughters from, neither of my daughters from doing theater at Old Orchard. So if any of you have questions about what to expect at Niles North, you guys can talk to her. I'm sure she'd happily skip out of this meeting and chat with you about things. And did someone tell you I played the Scarecrow in 8th grade? Because that was my first school play, so I appreciate a nice little button on my time here. You could grow up to be a school board president yourself.
Or a lame superintendent.
That was Coach.
Great job, it was excellent.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Alright, move on.
Yes, thank you so much for your attentiveness, amazing, very difficult to come up and present, they did an excellent job. You heard it, May 1st, May 2nd, May 1st I think is 6 p.m., May 2nd was 7 p.m. Transitioning, we are going to hear about our English learning or EL learning team from Karina Lubiano. Welcome, Karina.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Karina Lubiano. I'm the director for my multilingual services in Skokie 68. And today we're here to provide you with an update from the learning team and also just some program recommendations that the team made. And with me tonight, we have Miss
I'm Farazish Khan, a first grade teacher at Devonshire.
Good evening, Fiorella Aro, an assistant principal at Old Orchard Junior High.
All right, so our presentation today aligns to the following strategic plan, and I guess this one's a continue.
Ghost in the machine.
All right, so I can say that our presentation aligns to all these pillars here, but more specifically to the cultural responsiveness, equity, and inclusion, and also social emotional learning and the whole child, and of course, teaching and learning. All right, so this data may not be new to some of you, but I believe it's worth looking at again and again.
Right here.
So as you can see, the increase here from 2015, we've had a tremendous growth in our EL students. Our last record is 32% of our students are ELs in Skokie 68. And right now, I'd like to say we're closer to 40%. We also have 70% of our students that speak a language other than English, with the top languages being Spanish, Urdu, Arabic, and Assyrian. While our numbers have increased, which sometimes can shock a system or a school district, our exit rate has actually increased. So we went from 9.6% in 2023 to 12.3% in 2024, which is almost doubles the state's exit rate. So that's a tremendous, I think, point for celebration for Skokie 68 and all our educators and principals.
I just wanted to start by talking about our district's mission. Our district's mission is to develop confident and creative learners. We provide a rigorous curriculum and a supported learning environment that helps promote this high achievement, encourages self-reflection, and helps meet the unique needs of each child. And that's why today we're going to start this presentation just by focusing on the students. And as a learning team, we often revisited the goals towards a more student-centered multilingual program. And here I have a few examples to share. The first picture on your left is a third grade readers theater, which targets like speaking and reading targets. And the next picture is a kindergarten TPR lesson, which stands for total physical response. And in this picture, they're using their bodies to learn about feeling vocabulary terms. And those are just two examples of all the great work our teachers and our specialists are doing. We actually have two videos to share. The first one is a student sharing what their favorite part about being multilingual. I know it was a little hard to hear, but there was mentions of like family members and just being able to like interact with other people, and that's what even a lot of the teachers in our buildings who are multilingual feel the same way, and we're happy to share that experience with our students. And then the next video is on our Pocket Talk device, and I don't want to spoil what this Pocket Talk device is, but it's just been really helpful to students, whether they're bilingual or not, and it's also been helpful to all of our staff members.
And I'm sorry, for some reason it is not allowing me to access it. But in this video, you would see one of our newcomers from Russia using the Pocket Talk, and she's speaking in Russian. And a Pocket Talk looks almost like, I don't know, those of you that know what a iPod looks like, kind of like that. And so the students can use it to speak into it in their own native language. It has more than 100 languages, and so the student was explaining how the Pocket Talk helped them and what they loved about being bilingual and being able to help other newcomers that speak the same language. So it was really powerful to hear her speak so fluently in her native language, and how her response was so expansive. In which case, if we asked her in English, she wouldn't have been able to respond, right? So these Pocket Talks have really helped also with providing this outlet for students to express themselves.
And then very briefly, I just wanted to go over our objectives for this evening. We're going to start with our why, grounding our work on our students, our district, and our mission. We'll then go into our new vision and belief statements as we're headed into the next school year. And then finally, we'll end with next steps for the next school year, and then also our 3-year plan target areas.
So before we dive in, I'd like to thank our learning team members. Here is a list of everyone that participated. We had participation from all schools. And I have to say it was a huge commitment. We met over a course of a year, and the meetings were in the evening, about 2.5 hours long. They did a wonderful job. It was a lot of time away from their families, and a lot of what I'm presenting to you tonight, what we're presenting to you tonight, is because of all the work that this team did. And we have a few team members here, Ms. Chrissy Hahn, Ms. Lisa Goico, and of course, Dr. Samogeni, who was a mentor for me as I started this journey in entering the learning team work. And I'm really proud of the team's work around the vision. This is new to the program. This had not existed before. And so this started as a brainstorming session on day 1. And then we made sure that we revisited this every time we met throughout the whole year, to make sure that we were at a place that we felt comfortable, something that we were proud of, and that also aligned with our mission and vision as a district. We also used the ISB's definition of multilingual and their vision for the state as as a place to ground our thinking and work.
As a learning team, we have developed belief statement, and we look for 5 important goals to achieve moving forward. Our first goal was equitable access. We wanted to make sure that all of our multilingual learners have equitable access to grade level content area and also resources, not only to improve their language acquisition, but to improve their academic language acquisition. And all these access to are aligned with the WIDA standard, and the WIDA that stands for the world-class instructional design and assessment to meet the needs of their language needs. The second goal was the native language support. There is tons of research that support the importance of nurturing the mother language in order for the kids to improve with their cognitive development, for them to build strong foundational skills for their bilingual literacy. So that's a high priority for us as a team to provide the support for the mother language in our schools. The third goal was the cultural enrichment. We wanted to continue to celebrate our unique diversity and provide a culture where we can grow more of our multilingualism support. The fourth goal was realizing that we cannot do this work without the support of our parents and families. We want our multilingual learners' families to know not only what's happening in our schools, but also in the classroom, so they can provide that support, and we invite them to partnership with us so they can support that whatever we're doing with best practices at home. Last goal for the team was to advocacy and identity. We noticed that our English language learners and EL in general, especially at the very beginning and at the very low level of their language proficiency, that they have hard time figuring out what's their identity. And our goal is to support them find that identity in a positive way and build their self-esteem and to add more tools to their existing tool in order for them to advocate for themselves and look for the goals and support them with their SEL and academic and linguistic needs. So we took the vision, we took the goals and everything, and we came up as a team with our next steps, which we are super excited to share for what will happen in our schools next year. Here we go. So at the junior high, we are excited to introduce 3 different classes, general education plus classes, for each grade level. These classes will be organized in a way that our multi-language learners will be able to have access to grade level curriculum for both academic and language support. This is new, we are super excited. In the current program, we have the kids, we have multi-grades in one classroom. For next year, we're gonna have them all in one separate grade level so they can be with their peers and improve with their needs. In our elementary schools, all of our multilingual learners will continue to participate in the general education plus classes, and they will have dedicated time to our goal, which is to nurture the mother language, so we can dedicate some time for the bilingual education services. The last update is that we're trying to look for modifying our assessment in order to make sure that we continue to align them with the WIDA standard. And we realize our newcomers and bilingual students, we need to create curriculum that will really be responsive to their needs as we continue to learn more about them and their culture and where they're coming from. And last but not the least, working with naming some of our courses to meet how the kids perceive the name of the class and looking at these classes at their schedule.
So we're excited to share an update which is really about the name of the program. So we've been called the EL Services Department, and we're moving towards a more inclusive name. So now we will be the Department of Multilingual Services. And this is more than a name change. This is, and I'm sorry about the screen here, it really is more about reflecting the vision and what we want to do for multilingual learners in the district. It is a more comprehensive way to speak of our learners, our bilingual students, our newcomers, all our students that speak, 2 languages, 3, sometimes 4. When I count our languages spoken in the district, I'm not even accounting for dialects and other languages that are not always noted. And ISB's list of languages is always growing. There are times when we have kids register and we can't find their language and we're just calling ISB, can you add this language? And we're contributing to the state's work and expanding that as well. So I'm really excited about this name change. And with that will come, updates to other informational, like brochures or any updates that we need to share with the family. I know that we are having a parent university coming up, so the term multilingual is going to be shared at that time. Now I'm going to share the focus areas for our work ahead. So these areas were the ones that were trending not only during the multilingual learning team work, but also when I did, school visits and listening tours when I first started last fall. These were some of the same trends that kept coming up. So our focus areas are, providing multilingual professional development. We already provide so many professional development opportunities. For example, we just had our Institute Day where educators had an opportunity to choose their own journey and they had access to some of this PD, but we just want to continue to strengthen that and continue to provide these targeted opportunities and to make sure that we're on top of the latest research and practices for multilingual learners. There's more, but it doesn't want to stay. We also want to continue to explore our course offerings and make sure that we are providing the best pathways for students, not only within our school district, but beyond, thinking ahead for students maybe going into high school and prepping them for the seal of biliteracy. That's the goal for the bilingual program. We'd also like to develop a multilingual handbook. And then again, we talked about the curricular pieces that we'd like to add more WIDA language and standards within the core content and providing those scaffolds from the start so that teachers have access to that. And that is a lofty goal, but it is not something that we're gonna do in year 1, but it will be continuous work. And our success criteria is access, progress to proficiency reports, EL exit rate, and then also multilingual achievement on iReady and IAR. And finally, but not any less important, is the financial investment towards the multilingual program. In one of our last board meetings, we did approve, there was an approval of additional positions at Old Orchard. ESL specialist positions, and also an additional bilingual teacher. And like I said, we'll continue to provide federal funds towards curriculum development that is supportive of our multilingual learners for the TBE and TPI programs. We'll also continue to provide funds towards translation services and devices and curriculum and professional development. And now I'll turn it over to Ms. Khan and Ms. Otto for our optimistic closure.
Just a quick question.
Sure.
Going back on the
Sure.
new staffing, is that for the building, for each school building, or is it which size? Because I know that's Old Orchard High, so 2
Yeah.
positions, ESL specialists. Would each K through 5 school get 2 ESL specialists?
So we currently have 2 ESL specialists in the district, and they're split between 2 buildings. And now each building will have an ESL, a dedicated ESL specialist.
Okay. So 2 for one building.
total for sec, yes.
Four total.
Four total, one per building.
Yes.
There's two new positions, there are
Yes.
currently two.
Yeah, so we're not, yeah. Okay.
We thought we'd end with an optimistic closure because obviously we have lots to look forward to in the next 3 years and obviously moving forward from there. So we're actually gonna do a very popular strategy that a lot of teachers use in their classroom. It's called Think, Pair, Share. We first want you to just think of your answer in your head, and then we'll give you a chance to talk to someone near you, and we have a big crowd today to accomplish that. And then at the end, if anyone would like to share, we'll do that as well. And then you want to introduce coverage.
Yeah, I just want to say that 8 years ago, I'm honored to say I was here in this room presenting with Dr. Bob Marler about our existing program. And 8 years now, it's like a full circle. We continue to improve our program. We continue to listen to our educators, teachers, families, and the board, and everyone. So this is a great opportunity. We value everyone's voice, and we know that there's always work to do in order to achieve like the ultimate goal. So we also provide you with a sentence stamp starter, like I would like to see multilingual services include something. Think about what else that you think we missed that we didn't touch, and you can email us if you can't think of anything. We value everyone's opinion in order for us to improve. So you can find an elbow partner, turn and talk for a quick minute and see what do you like from what we're doing, anything else that we're missing that you can give us feedback. Turn and talk.
You guys can We're piggybacking on the art.
Anyone who'd like to share with us any feedback, you can email us. We love the engage in the discussion that was happening. Any more questions? Yes, please.
We had a question about, so this year Space expanded their offerings and kids can take more than one class for the year. And we were wondering if there's like any data around how many of the multilingual learners are participating in after-school programming. I would be interested to know also of that number, what's the percentage of those students who are bused? If there's a correlation, and then Jeff brought up a really great point of like, also, are the students that are participating in these programs, do they have a higher or a quicker exit rate? That would be an interesting point of data.
Thank you for that. We can look into that.
Well, all of our students are invited to participate. We
Right.
also have a club for the language exchange at the junior high where they can come, like they do like, they write note cards for their language, they teach their friends some certain phrases in their language. Busing, everything is provided for everyone, but definitely we see like their oracy skills develop and improve because of all this other interaction in a non-academic, let's say, setting.
Yeah, and we didn't talk about, because it's not specific to space, but we also have our newcomer summer school program. And that is also offers another opportunity for some of our students to just develop more oracy skills. And we have field trips and we have just a lot of opportunities for dialogue. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Is ASL included in the multilingual program, or is that considered like a separate?
It's the program changed now the name from ESL to multi-language.
No, I'm sorry, I misspoke. ASL. Is that included in the multilingual program or not?
That's a great question. That is not something that we've encountered at we don't have state guidance around that within the multilingual program.
Okay.
Thank you. That's a good question.
Just one more thing I'd like to add. I mean, it'd be interesting to know, like, if we can get all the data and the good and the bad in terms of like maybe parents and families who opted out of the program and why, and what can we do to become better and kind of have that rigorous curriculum that we want for each child, and have it to be more student centered. So I think engaging the community and the families, I think that's an important factor that is kind of missing and was missed for a while. So
Yeah, that's an area we continue to grow on. I do have to say that our feedback meetings, in the last couple years, our participation has increased, and there's a lot of feedback that I collect on a regular basis from them, but it is an area that we're continuing to improve upon, and I appreciate that feedback. Thank you.
Feel free to email us.
My email is here. Thank you so much and have a great evening.
Thank you very much.
I just want to draw attention to a couple of things from the presentation. One is the investment that the board and the district has made in that topic that was just presented. You can spend time looking into the demographics of our district over the last 10 years, and while things have changed in certain areas, none have changed as much as our EL population. As Karina and the team pointed out, we've more than doubled. And what I question is, where have we invested to reflect that addition? And this year we did. 6 positions is a massive increase for a district to devote to one area. So that doesn't go unnoticed. And I also want to mention that we will be progress monitoring to see if those investments were effective and in the right spot. 3 of those investments in Old Orchard Junior High in the programming didn't exist before. ESL specialists were just 2 positions, we now have 4. Arabic at Devonshire is a new program. It needs to happen by law and also by the right of the students that go to that school. So I just want to emphasize that in terms of where the district's putting its money, and when we talk about equity, what it looks like from a board perspective and from a superintendent seat, it looks different sometimes than what other people might think. So it's something to be proud of, but it's also something as a board to reflect on the amazing investment that the district made in just a short amount of time. So kudos to Karina and the team. You did a great job. Thank you for navigating it. Those investments wouldn't have been possible without the EL Learning team's support and input. So thank you so much for doing that. Up next, we have our communication and engagement learning team. A lot tonight, but this one is really, really important. We have received significant feedback this year about enhancing our outreach and engagement with our parents, with our families, with our community. And we have two really great opportunities to do that. One was redeveloping the district website. It is definitely in need of some updates in several locations, more than one. I used to joke about it, but I can no longer laugh about it because it's now mine and it needs to change. So we will. And then the second is a district-wide communication platform. I know as a parent myself, it can be overwhelming to receive multiple messages, let alone multiple messages from different platforms, emails, different servers. When we had PowerSchool, now Infinite Campus, some more constant contact from me as the superintendent. It's too much, and frankly, I think it leads to increased opportunities for disengagement versus engagement. On the heels of the EL presentation, we also have challenges with multiple communication platforms as it relates to translation, readability, and access for the community members we're often struggling to reach the most. So with the help of Deanna Juarez and Derek Sen this year, we launched the Communication and Engagement Learning Team. We had representation here from Ms. Lonegro as well as Ms. Hyatt. Thank you so much to both of you as board members for participating. There were others that wanted in. We had to elbow them out. But we went through a couple of programmatic reviews. They've been looking at this, and the time has come for the big reveal. What is next for us as a website and a communication platform? Really exciting. I think this is sort of the first step as it relates to obviously communicating with families and also the community, people that are interested in moving into our community, but also just reaching them first before what we say, just how are we connecting with our families. So without further ado, where do we land?
We are going with Parent Square.
All right.
I think actually like 80 to 90% of our learning team is in this room, so everybody should be we have good representation. So.
Yes, well, thank you. Good evening. I am Deanna Juarez, currently the Coordinator of Family Services and Engagement for the district.
And I'm Derek Sen, currently the Director of Technology for District 68.
Sorry. So we work together collaborating on this communication engagement learning team. And it was a pleasure to do it because the energy is there. We are ready. We are ready to take this on and tackle those two objectives of the website and a district-wide communication platform. And I think what happened is as a district, we're really good at getting things done. And sometimes that means at a building level, you might tackle a challenge and a problem in one way that we don't see consistent in other buildings. But we get those questions answered and we get the job done. And that has perhaps created, a silo effect of maybe different people do different things and they're effective in different ways. But what we'd like to see is a real streamlined, cohesive, consistent, and comprehensive approach. So that was kind of the exciting part of getting to choose a district-wide communication platform. Parent Square was the winner because we did find that it had the elements of what we already do, but we are going to be able to do it in a way that everyone is using it in the same way. We can check the efficacy of what's used. We can reach the parents in a different way than we currently do as far as translation and getting the statistics and the data on who's opening what and what's working so that we're able to, in a dynamic way, kind of change up what we do to make sure we're reaching the audience that we want, which is all of the families in the district. So that's a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we have a few demos. One to kind of show what the future looks like for our district with regard to communications. So just gonna play this as a very quick 2-minute one, just to kind of again show what the future holds for us.
And they're getting school information from everywhere. Teacher apps, school texts, email newsletters, district calls, backpack flyers. Too many methods, too many places to look. Schools don't know if they're getting through all this clutter and noise. Who is saying what? If family contact information is current, and who's not being reached? Wouldn't it be better if everything was in one place? So you and your families could be sure nothing and no one is missed? It's time to get organized, to get unified. Welcome to Parent Square. Parent Square unifies family communications from the district office to the classroom, all in a single platform. From district-wide alerts to individual parent-teacher messages, Parent Square's communications tools are built to work together, not piece together. Staff have to learn only one system. Parents find everything in one account. It's more than messages. It's also school services that rely on two-way communications, like filling out forms, scheduling conferences, excusing absences, and responding to progress reports. All fully integrated so parents can reply by web or app and miss nothing. Administrators also miss nothing. Usage and participation reports let them know who's not being reached and help improve communications equity. And they can trust contacts and messages will stay private and secure. Schools also increase engagement and family connections with Parent Square's unique ability to verify and flag updates to contact details. Parents can pick preferred ways of being reached and use any of their phone numbers or email addresses to log in. That gives parents control and schools confidence important messages make it through. With Parent Square, schools get a unified communications platform that saves time. They stay in touch with families easily and consistently. Parents have just one login account to find information and communicate with schools and teachers. They're more satisfied and involved. Parent Square, all of your family interactions in one place.
Exciting.
So happy.
So again, the key takeaway there is it's one-stop shop for everything. So parents can literally go to one app, receive all the communications from their school, communicate back and forth. I'm gonna close this before some weird video plays. You'll also notice our presentation did not blink. I apologize to everybody that came before us. So right now we just want to kind of debut a couple of districts that actually host their website with Parent Square, just to kind of again show what could be in our future. So these districts, we thought, these are from the Midwest, we thought did a good job on their website in capturing kind of the vision of their district, as well as succinctly directing all of their communications to one spot here. So I'm just gonna kind of scroll slowly.
Can I add some commentary?
Absolutely.
So we initially set out to look at potentially two different purchases, one for a website, one for a communication platform, and it ended up being more of an opportunity to synchronize that with Parent Square, which does both. So I just wanted to specify that that was not an intended outcome of the actual learning team. It was thinking that it would be more two separate items. But as the team pointed out after gathering the feedback, looking at what's out there, there was an opportunity to just consolidate and use it for both. So just wanted to specify that you watched the video on communication, but now you're looking at a website. It ended up being a merge. The other thing I'll share is we haven't talked a lot about cost tonight on the presentation, nor in the public-facing board documents. Frankly, it's because it's actually pretty close to what we currently pay. So I just want to emphasize that the products themselves have grown dramatically and improved in the last few years with technology, but the costs have remained relatively neutral and stable. If they had changed dramatically, we absolutely would have brought that to you public-facing to point that out.
So from a privacy perspective, is data anonymized when it's collected because you're tracking a lot of usage, right? Question?
As far as like analytics on the webpage? Yeah, it's all for us, so.
Okay, but is it anonymized where?
Yes, exactly. It's public IP addresses commonly that it's pulling in, but nothing with regard to, location or anything like that. So it's typically page visits and then next hops, so how the page is navigated throughout.
We can probably
Yeah, we can follow up questions afterwards.
Yeah.
Should interrupt the presentation. Thank you.
Great question. Yeah, and then just another example here. So we're super excited to begin work on this. We're hoping to acquire Parent Square this spring, and then we're hoping to spend all summer rolling out the new website and communications platform. It'll probably take all summer to do that, migrating what we currently have, and then improving on what we currently have in a dramatic way. Again, nobody had to prove to us that we needed to redevelop our website. It's, we're willing, so.
And it's exciting, as you see in the examples here, to really have websites that display, the people. The district is made up of people, and there's so many amazing things happening in the buildings. And to have it be kind of reflective of that and in the videos and the pictures, There are sometimes programs overlooked, like band and sports, and really a place where we feel proud to send parents in the community to see what's going on, keeping in mind the different target audiences. And here's a big one, calendar, making sure calendars are sort of coordinated and shareable, we know is really important to the learning team from what we heard. So that's something we're definitely focusing on, being accessible to everyone. It was a real joy to hear everything and to get to work. We said to get to work.
Oh, no, it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So NTDSE also went with Parent Square, and as a parent, I'm bringing up that it's really, really great from a user side when it's talking about the learning team. The families, some of them are gonna need some help to figure out how to coordinate it, and those that don't do that still get all the emails and the pings and the messages and everything else, because I don't know how good everybody is at figuring out how to modify it for their own needs. So it was a piece of feedback that I think as you're thinking about rolling this out, that it would be really good to sort of think about how do we make sure that our community is actually learning how to use this to correspond with how they want to. And then just a question is, it did mention in the video that they'll actually track who you're not reaching through Parent Square. So my question there was, what is the district going to, or what's the initial plan? I'm sure it'll change, but what is the district plan to follow up with those families to figure out what the barriers are to them being able to access those communications?
Yeah, briefly, so with something like that, when we see who we're not reaching, you see who you are reaching, and so that leaves who you're not reaching. And that's typically where we do just kind of boots on the ground, interpreters reaching out. We are asking families to register every year, so we see the families that haven't registered. We can assume there's some sort of communication challenge there, and so it's really kind of one by one reaching out to the families and saying, what do you need and why is this not something that you're using currently? So it's a lot of kind of hands-on, one by one, case by case work.
Yeah, because I was just wondering, like, does everybody have the technology they need to be able to, for
Right,
instance?
and in many cases, situations like that, and families like, it's not the first time we've tried to, do something and haven't reached them, so they're on, for lack of a better term, like on someone's radar, or it's something that we're working on, but we're just hoping that these platforms kind of give us an easier way to reach the most amount of families. That doesn't mean we're gonna reach all the families, and then maybe gives us a pattern and a way that we can approach the work that comes with.
I do know NTDSE is thrilled with this, so, yeah, but I was just, those were questions.
Yeah, no, thank you, and there will be like training for everyone, right, at every level, and that does include the community and family, so thank you for that note, keep that in mind.
Can I add, we've also talked about maximizing things like curriculum nights, open houses to recruit the use of the platform, which I know is a curve in itself. With staff as well, so there's that piece. We've also worked with the North Cook, they have a communication team, so Deanna and I have started to attend those meetings. And a lot of the districts have done physical and different surveys for family members that they've had a hard time to reach. Once they do reach them, asking like, what is it that the district isn't doing to help you, feel engaged or be engaged? Is it a tech barrier? Is it another issue? So that's something that we might think about too, but I think there is definitely gonna be an onboarding challenge with it to get it up and running for everybody. But the big piece for us as an administration is it also allows our team to see how their colleagues are also communicating and what and when, to help with streamlining, to help with, frankly, stealing good ideas where they may exist, and then also creating that equitable educational experience across the different schools, as well as in between the junior high and the elementary. So it really has a lot of advantages to it, but it won't be quick and simple. It'll definitely come with some learning opportunities, for sure.
So my question actually maybe now sits right in the middle of what Superintendent Grin asked or said and what you asked. It's when you move from learning team to implementation, the user end is really critical, training is really critical, but I wonder if you all have thought about the new roles and responsibilities that will need to also be thought about as you take these multiple platforms into a single platform. We're a small shop, Derek, and so I do wonder in terms of resourcing this move, are there different ways that the shop will have to work in order to move from a decentralized model to a centralized one, and the kind of support, Superintendent Grins, right, that's gonna be needed beyond the training of how to use the site, but just the ability to implement and build all these things in it, you know, it's a different kind of challenge. So I assume that that's, you know, somewhere down the line, but that is something I was really curious about, because we're built off of a decentralized model now. And you're going into a very centralized one. Do we have the roles and responsibilities in place for that?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think honestly, the school teams are already doing a lot of lifting. So everything from our school secretaries, administrative assistants, principals, assistant principals, they've built their own effective communication models within the communities. So now I think that the challenges for us as a district is to slowly migrate that over and to make sure that it becomes more streamlined. One of the nice things about Parent Square is it has a lot of template creation options, so there's less graphic reorganizing. Like I know with Constant Contact, I know my emails to the community, I'm sorry, are not pretty, but they are painstaking to create because that software does not have the same flexibility. Whereas this is much more user-friendly on the delivery side as well. So I think, long-winded answer, but I think there's going to be less work after it's up and running. We will see a lot more as an administration to be able to help provide support, clarity, and get ahead of events and communications. So like as an administrative team, we'll be able to sign on to different calendars. Same for staff, so that they'll be able to actually see like what is happening at Old Orchard. When is that potential soccer game, should I say soccer conference champion game? But those things I think are huge and will be helpful for the team to make it honestly less, sort of working smarter and not harder. So less work in the end is the goal with more effective outreach.
This is an easy one, and maybe I missed it, but like one of the main motivators to this was just language access. So how does that work with this? Does it automatically translate? Like what does that look like?
It does, actually,
Okay.
yeah, so it provides like in real time two-way translation. We're actually able to link that to Infinite Campus, a student information system, so that the language that a parent indicates is their language spoken at home, it'll automatically start doing that, translating in real time, so pretty neat feature.
And that's like the first question to any, you know, all of the different companies and organizations is it's not like a bonus, it's a need that we have in the district, so absolutely that was again the principle.
Great, any other questions, anything at all? So more to come, definitely some training opportunities, no need to worry as a staff, we are going slow at this, we've done a lot of lifting, I thank you Deanna and Derek for taking the lead on making this happen. Again, as well, our board members for their support, board member Hyatt as well as board member Lonegrove, so appreciate all of you, this has been great to get it going, and frankly now the work begins to make it happen. So
And thank you for letting us do this work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Pleasure. 3D, that's you.
Yes, sorry, we have a lot in the superintendent report this evening with those three presentations, but we thought they were definitely all worthwhile at the time. One update I have is something we don't really talk as much publicly about, given the amount of work we're actually doing with the item behind the scenes, and that's safety. So this year, significant work has gone on behind the scenes as an administrative team to continuously improve our safety efforts in several areas. Earlier in the year, we hired an organization that provided facility assessments for every building and learning center in the district. We got massive reports back with really helpful information. Also, celebrations of the work that's already been done in the past with a lot of the capital improvements, secure vestibules, things like that. Our technology is very impressive across the district as it relates to technology, relates to safety as well. But I just wanted to mention that we do have a couple of upcoming items that will, again, in a slow way, make their way to the staff as well as obviously to the learning spaces. Things like standard response protocols are what we're looking at right now and continuously improving those. We're working on some emergency protocols that are associated then with those, as well as training for staff We already do training in safety in a number of areas, both required by law and just best practice. But we're just continuously revisiting that to see how we can make it even better and even more clear for staff so that they feel as confident as they can be in the case of a crisis if one was to take place. Updated emergency signage is taking place. We have a couple of technology advances that have gone into play. As recent as today, I was talking with Derek on an item and he was already looking at a way to improve something that was purchased just in the recent year. We've also had some strengthened coordination with the Skokie Police Department and our other emergency agencies, more frequent meetings, additional communication. So just wanted to just mention it, not in any reactive way, but more proactive way of just something that the admin team has devoted a lot of time to in meetings as well as in our collaboration that we haven't really communicated out yet because it hasn't come to fruition as it relates to change, but more that will eventually roll out definitely over the summer for us as a team, and then with the staff in the fall with training so that everyone feels confident and consistent and collected in what we do. On a less serious note, but in a more exciting way, we had visitors today from District 219. We had students for the Exploration and Into Education program. They visited all 3 elementary schools. Dr. Dana Schmidt helped us coordinate that, along with our principals and our assistant principals. Trying to really catch them young with the teachers, get them in high school while we can, but great coordination effort. It was awesome to just see those students in our buildings, thinking about the wonderful world of teaching, as well as superintendency, should they decide to go that path one day as well. But just wanted to give a shout out to the team for making that happen. Always great to be connecting with D219. You already heard the play dates, May 1st and May 2nd. We have a couple of other dates that are coming up. On April 23rd, and we'll talk about that more as an action item, is a possible organizational Board of Ed meeting. That's where we take oath of office as board members. Officers are seated. We arrange meetings for the upcoming year. We have outdoor ed, always a favorite, with May 5th to 7th for Devonshire and Highland. May 7th and 9th for Stenson. Are we still doing no cell phones on those?
That's correct.
Look at that! Wow, awesome. That's gonna be great. Get outdoors, no cell phones. Less phones, more outdoors. May 12th to May 16th is our Skokie 68 Teacher Appreciation Week. That is on a different week than usual. We delay ours due to outdoor education. We want to make sure our teachers and educators get the recognition they deserve. May 14th is Skokie 68 Teacher Appreciation Day. So if you've been waiting to buy that new car for your child's teacher, that would be the day that you would want to deliver that. May 14th, yes, don't forget the title, Skokie 68 Teacher Appreciation Day. In all seriousness, we do appreciate you recognizing our staff. They're incredibly hardworking, dedicated. They do appreciate you as parents and guardians sharing that TLC. Thursday, May 15th, we have our regularly scheduled May board meeting. We have a to-be-determined Board of Education training possibly coming up in May. We'll let the community know more about that if the meeting is announced. Monday, May 26th is Memorial Day. That's no school. I cannot believe it's here, but Thursday, May 29th at 7 p.m. is the 8th grade graduation ceremony. Amazing. Wednesday, June 4th, and that's it. Is that at Niles North? My notes say Niles West. It's at West. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Wednesday, June 4th is the last day of school. Thursday, June 19th is Juneteenth. It's a recognized holiday in the state of Illinois. The district is closed that day. As a result, we are possibly going to vote this evening on rescheduling the board meeting that evening to June 26th. More to come on that in a minute. That was a lot. Any questions? Anything I missed? Anything at all?
Good.
All right.
I have a question.
Oh. Excuse me.
Wow.
Filters off. Filters off.
Nice.
Filter off forever. When can I volunteer to do the 8th grade graduation handout
just did.
diploma?
Yep.
That's my favorite thing in the whole world.
We have one other team member here.
Okay,
who's
good.
interested as
We
well.
did it last year, we need to do it again.
Yeah.
It's the best
Okay.
thing
I
ever.
got two and Jeff's making eye contact.
If somebody goes down.
Okay.
Nope.
Yep.
You don't get to go.
Back up.
If someone. That jacket is giving you power.
It is. That's why I wore it.
I'm all good.
good.
I'm in case of fire break glass. That's
Yes.
Got it.
I'll fight you for it.
I appreciate the efforts. Principal Hanson will not lead us astray.
It's the best.
Okay.
Great. Remember, don't go to Niles North.
Yes, I will be at Niles West. I had it right in the notes. I just wanted to double check. Absolutely. All right.
Yeah, they alternate. All right, moving on to our approval of minutes. May I have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes from March 20th, 2025 Board of Education regular meeting and March 20, 2025 Board of Education closed session meeting.
Second. Bill Jordan?
Yes.
Hyatt? Lundegren?
Yes.
Ruffner?
Yes.
Sturbin?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Borshaw?
Yes.
Consent agenda is our next item of business. It includes the personnel report covering employee hire and resignation as posted with the agenda for this meeting. Financial reports, which includes fund balances for March 2025 and the statement of position report. Pay orders and expenditures, which includes accounts payable, statement of cash flow, and the P-card monthly report. Board of Ed policy second readings, administrative salaries and benefits summary for 25-26. Does any board member wish to remove an item from this agenda? May I have a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented by the board president.
Second.
Discussion before or vote?
Yeah, I can mention it. I'm gonna mention it. Sure. So just want to acknowledge, one item on the consent agenda this evening is the resignation of our very own Sharon Jacobellis. Sharon has served us as a Director of Student Services. She has a new opportunity with Round Lake District 116. We are incredibly sad to see her go, but we're happy for her in the new next step. Sharon, I've only known for a short period of time, but from day one, she's been an advocate for our students as well as our staff. She prides herself in the relationships she's built with everyone, and they do stand up to that phrase. So I just want to thank you, Sharon, for your hard work to the district. We wish you a ton of luck. You're not leaving yet. We have her till June 30th. She's working on the handbook. We have a whole bunch of classes. It's a lot of work.
I'm just one of this.
But levity aside, we do appreciate you, and we wish you the best of luck. So.
Thank you. This has been the greatest joy and honor and highlight of my career. Thank you for the last.
Can I just jump in as someone who sat in the room with you as a parent? That it's sometimes those feel scary, and you always made those IEP meetings just feel like a place where the district actually was willing and to step up to the table and see every kid for who they are. And that's a huge difference from other districts, and you brought so much to it. And on behalf of those folks that are in our district that have kids that have those needs, we're incredibly grateful for everything you've brought to this position. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hyatt?
Yes.
Lundegren?
Yes.
Ruffner?
Yes.
Sturbin?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Borshaw?
Yes.
Bill Jordan?
There are too many other things on there for a symbolic no vote. So, all right, we'll now move on to our reports and discussion items. I do not believe we have a report for the HPTSC meeting.
No, it turned out I did have one little thing to report, but Scott moved it to May, so.
So we get to jump right into the fun one. And I stood in for Mr. Sturbins this month. And despite the promise at the beginning of the meeting that not much was to report on due to the Senate's week, I have a very long list of notes that I will breeze through as quickly as possible. The Senate had the week off, House Ed Committee meetings were canceled, but we were joined by State Rep Michelle Mussman from Schaumburg, who had a lot of trouble with her internet, but did get to talk about her support of the bill that is hopeful to allow ISB to better communicate the IEP process. As that is discouraging people from staying away from the profession. So she's hopeful that that bill gets some traction. Also, the bill to help track how schools are helping homeless students and getting funds to them is a big priority for Rep. Mussman. We then jumped into a Q&A. There were a lot of questions about the waiver process bill, which is creating quite a bit of consternation. She is suggesting that we go back to the original statute instead of just continuing to approve waivers for driver's ed and phys ed requirements, addressing why we keep adding to the curriculum requirements and not making time for our students to actually take all the classes that are being required. Bridget gave the legislative update. There were 900 track bills, but the 10 hot ones she cited, one was the waiver bill. The student ticketing bill was a priority. EdRed is currently neutral with their compromise, which requires SROs to have memorandums of understanding with law enforcement. And as long as it only applies to the school day, not extracurricular activities, they're not opposing student ticketing at the moment. Cell phone policies are obviously a big one for EdRed right now. And A1, the amendment is the specific initiative put forward by the governor, and which has taken into consideration a lot of what EdRed had suggested. And so she got to shout out her committee for getting the carve outs for IEPs, EL needs, and it is likely to be signed, she believes. Other hot bills included the special ed bills regarding regulatory guidance to stakeholders regarding IEP evaluations, as this is one of those bills that is already the law, but people aren't following the law, so they want to pass another law to make people follow the first law, which EdRed has a lot of opinions about. This was also a very feisty EdRed meeting, which I assumed was always the case, and my friend on the Schaumburg School Board said, no, they did this just for you, Joe. They wanted me to go out with a bang. There's likely to pass the bill for teaching Arab-American history, and expect that to be implemented in the 26-27 school year. To be implemented in 26-27, not necessarily to pass, but that bill is a hot bill right now. And then the curriculum review is one that EdRed is opposing, where their proposal is that we suspend all history instruction in 25-26, except where it's required for graduation, replace it with civics, and give us the chance to review all social studies and history ed. That one EdRed really doesn't want to see move very far. And I think they focused on the EdRed initiatives right now, which are paid leave, though that bill has now been assigned to committee, preventing opting out of schools being used as polling places, and dual credit instructor qualification frameworks, which I didn't take extensive notes on, so I can't tell you where that landed. And there is no May member meeting, so you won't have to listen to Jeff next month. That is the EdRed summation. There you go. And then we move on to our action items. So our next item of business is the approval of the $5,000 donation to the district from Nicholas and Associates. May I have a motion?
I move to approve the $5,000 donation to the district from Nicholas and Associates.
Second.
Kenya's been working with our vendors. I'll let her take the credit for this one.
So in my previous district, I always sent out letters to do sponsors or donations from our vendors, and I sent out 2 or 3, and Nicholas and Associates called me back. We met. They asked a lot of questions because it's a family-owned business, and they wanted to see what we would do and what we would do this thing with the money. At first, she didn't give me a dollar amount. She just said, "We're more than happy to help." And then she called me back like a month or so ago, and she said, "How does $5,000 sound?" And I said, "It sounds really good." So she said in chat, she personally came and brought me the check, and she said she was more than happy to collaborate with Skokie 68. So she'll do things in the future as well.
Thank you, Kenya.
Thank you. Well, that's supposed to prove, you gotta ask. Thank you.
Yeah, so we do have a policy for gifts to the district. We'll make sure we follow it absolutely to a T. But just wanted to, we have to have that approved by you as a board. But kudos to Kenya for the outreach, and thank you to Nicholas and Associates for the support.
Loniger?
Yes.
Ruffner?
Yes.
Sturbins?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Warshaw?
Yes.
Bill Jordan?
Yes.
Hyatt?
Yes.
Next item of business is the approval of the final 24-25 school calendar. May I have a motion?
I move to approve the final school calendar as presented with no changes, and the last day of school to continue to be on Wednesday, June 4th, 2025 as scheduled, and Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025 for early childhood.
Second.
No major information here. We were fortunate to not use inclement weather this year. And did not have to extend the schedule or change it in any way. By annual code, we approve it every spring. So we are approving this year's schedule as a final deadline of the last day.
Ruffner,
Yes.
Servants,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Warshaw,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Hyatt,
Yes.
Lonigro,
Yes.
Next up is the approval of the revised 24-25 Board of Education regular calendar to reflect the observance of the Juneteenth holiday and the addition of the organizational meeting. May I have a motion?
I move to approve the rescheduling of the June 19th, 2025 board meeting to June 26th, 2025 at 7 p.m. and the scheduling of the organizational meeting for Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025 at 7 p.m.
Second.
Thank you.
Just as mentioned in the dates, the Juneteenth conflict, we missed last year, so apologies for any scheduling challenges with that. And then the organizational meeting is a requirement for our next steps. I did my best to connect with as many team members as I could. Wednesday, April 23rd seemed to be the day that worked the best for everyone, so hopefully that's still the case.
Servants,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Warshaw,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Hyatt,
Yes.
Lonigro, Ruffner.
Yes. Next item of business is the approval of the sale of 180 MacBook Air M1 laptops. I will let the motion speak to the details. May I have?
I move to approve the sale of 180 MacBook Air M1 laptops to Second Life Mac for a minimum $43,200 and authorize the purchase of 260 2025 MacBook Air M4 laptops for a 4-year lease to own agreement with Apple at a total cost of $228,540.
Pretty run-of-the-mill business with this. The district's been doing a great job maintaining a timeline with our technology refreshes. This is in alignment with it. Derek and his team have done a lot of work to make sure that they're being fiscally responsible and also maintaining really high-quality products, which we are really, really fortunate to have. So this is a typical time for this to occur, and these would be for staff laptops in different areas.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Warshaw,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Hyatt,
Yes.
Lonigro,
Yes.
Ruffner,
Yes.
Servants.
Yes.
Next item of business is the approval of the fiscal year 26 consolidated plan as presented. May I have a motion?
I move to approve the fiscal 26 consolidated plans presented.
Second.
This is the yearly kickoff to the title grant funding. We complete a consolidated district plan that speaks to how we are programming and how we'll use funds to support programming for Title I, Title II, Title IV, Title III, and IDEA funds. So nothing substantive in terms of changes from last year. We just bring it to you every year around this time to get approval.
It's a great 45-page document. Anybody want to gloss
Isn't it
over the
lovely?
highlights? It's a lot.
They printed in size 6 font for you, so sorry about
Really
that.
simple.
Yeah, that was, thanks.
Warshaw,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Hyatt,
Yes.
Lonigro,
Yes.
Ruffner,
Yes.
Servants,
Yes.
Sullivan.
I'm on the fence.
Everybody has jokes tonight.
And now we hand over the floor to Dr. Krebs for some board member recognition.
I've prepared a speech.
Oh no.
I will read it in its entirety. So the Illinois Association of School Boards, which is the organization we typically go to for guidance, support, and input as a board, states that the Board of Education, also called the school board, is a unit of local government that establishes direction, goals, and priorities for a school district and determines policy, budget, leadership, and administration. That's a quote directly from their website. So I've been here now 10 months, and all of those things are incredibly important, definitely a part of the job. But what I have come to learn from this team here is that they are much more than that. They are actually caring, committed, and incredibly community focused. As I've mentioned to the board, I've mentioned it publicly, I am the child of a board member. I did not realize that at the time, and I did not respect it either. But I did recognize the amount of time that it took away in my family, just as a son of a mother who was devoted selflessly to the school district and the community. The countless hours, the amount of evenings, there's much more to it than just what goes on once a month. And I just want to thank everyone that is serving on the board here in Skokie 68 so much for your service. Specifically, as we anticipate transitions when the votes are certified, we have board member Maida Hyatt, board member Joseph Ruffner, and Dr. Noel Sullivan. I would love it if we could give them a round of applause for their service. We have a small token of appreciation for you, and I just wanted to say thanks. And once again, I felt the glow in this district in the very first interview when I was here, and it hasn't gone out at all. So thank you so much.
I noticed your blanket.
I wonder what apple stepped on it by
I don't know where, I'm sorry. How dare you?
So thank you once again. Just wanted to say thanks and for the opportunity, obviously, to serve here, but for the service that you've given the district and the community in the countless hours. It definitely goes noticed by me as well as the staff. So thank you so much for everything. Appreciate it.
It's been my pleasure. I look forward to catching y'all on YouTube.
That's why we're here.
Dr. Grenz, would it be possible if any of us wanted to
Absolutely,
say
sure.
a thing or two or three?
Yeah, floor's open.
Well, first of all, this is a melancholy evening. This work is, I very much appreciate you recognizing the work of so many board members across, our nation that do this work for the reasons that we should, which is to serve our community. And so I'm melancholy, but very thankful to the three of you all for very similar but very unique reasons. Maida, I really want to thank you for being a really great addition to District 68. You came in at a transitional time and you immediately made a difference, asking incredibly excellent and thoughtful questions that challenged us, I think, to provide just different ways of thinking and articulating why we were doing some of the things we did. So I really appreciate your insights and the perspective that you brought. I hope you will continue to do such good service and be active in our community in some form. My dear Noel, which I didn't say Nicole for the first time today, but your last meeting I didn't call you Nicole. Boy, have you brought deep intellect to this space. As an educator and as a board member, I've seen you really center the student in the work that we do, and I very much appreciate it. In the governance role, your commitment, your integrity, and your care for our district's students and their families really stood out. So I thank you. I'll miss you. Oh boy, dear Joe, what can I say? You have stepped up and stepped in you did step up and step in at a time of not necessarily turmoil, but challenge, with changing of leadership, changing of moments and times in our nation and our district, and just the steady hand, the care and the concern for our staff, our faculty, our parents and our children is really distinctive service. You lead with strength and character, and it will not be forgotten. I was privileged to serve as your vice president, even though I was not so much of a willing partner for a while there. And you will be tremendously missed, and I thank you and I honor the service that you've put forward in leading this district with great skill and integrity as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure.
Scott, I'd like to.
Sure, yeah.
Briefly for Maida, Noel, and Joe, I really appreciate what each of you have brought during your time on the board, the unique perspective that each of you brings. I think it's very important that our board reflect the diversity of thought that we have in our community. I'm really excited for the new additions that we are going to have to the board. I wish there was a way to both incorporate new members while not losing three people that I think bring so much to the district and to our school system. So thanks to all three of you. I'm gonna miss working with each of you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you outside here.
It might be an Alma violation.
We
Yeah, I was
can
gonna
hang
say,
out.
it's
We can
such
hang
an
out in
older
larger
group.
groups.
It's ready to go. There you go. Excellent. Thank you all so much. Once again, just appreciate the opportunity, the moment of time for that. Thank you all for being here as well. I know the administrative team thanks you as well. They've all signed your cards also, so thank you so much. We appreciate it.
I do want to note that I do believe the president should have to read every single one of these.
You mean my speech?
Going away gift.
Oh, wow.
Going away gift.
No, in fact, out of respect for all of in attendance, I have consolidated the 10. You guys will, this meeting, no, but there are 10 from the same AI-generated source that I will get through miraculously quickly. There were 12 requests and responses for information under the Freedom of Information Act during the period March 14th through April 11th. On March 10th, the district received a request from Susie Franks from Citizens for Fair Bidding, requesting all records for 2022, 23, and 24 asphalt maintenance projects. The response was sent on March 17th. The following 10 requests, mostly dated March 17th, 24th, or 27th, were received from Proton, requesting the actual electronic data maintained by the Treasurer's Office for every year between 1998 and 2024. True story, but in 10 separate requests that demarked them by decades. And for the annual expenses paid to identified vendors, firms, and individuals for those fiscal years by the school district, responses were sent over a number of days, mostly on April 1st, appropriately. And our final FOIA was on April 4th. The district received a request from 4425F requesting employee roster, insurance policy, and job descriptions for all current employees, as well as security camera footage from the public body's lobby recorded on the same date. A response was completed via hard copy on April 11th, 2025. It goes without saying that we need to really give a hand to Zoraida for presenting a 182-page response to multiple FOIAs. So if there is no further business to come before the board, I call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, please.
We are adjourned.